Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, World Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Update 5.5, and as well, the most overpowered Tier 3 vehicle that I personally have my hands on, and as well, one of the best vehicles seal clubbing you can get in the game. So, as many of you do know, in Update 5.5, the whole goal of the update was to fix seal clubbing at lower tiers, and I definitely understand Wargaming's approach. While they necessarily didn't nail it on the T, I think it was meant for good intentions, and while people do not necessarily like Wargaming's decision on that update, I definitely understand why they did do that, because if this vehicle here, the T-82, was aiming at you about 2 years ago, it would have been able to one-shot you if you were a Tier 3 vehicle or a Tier 2 tank, which is pretty dang stupid when you think about it. A Tier vehicle that can one-shot other opponents at the exact same tier. Literally Tier 3, and it can one-shot any other tank as long as you knew what you were doing. Yeah, not necessarily the most balanced tank. You had vehicles like the T-18, which was also ridiculously overpowered, or the Su-76I. Tanks like the Kennyatsu, which actually, for some reason, did not receive a nerf, which I found kind of funny. I guess it's because it was a premium, and the Su-76I is a collector, so they could nerf it. But it's just kind of funny how, in Update 5.5, they fixed all of the overpowered vehicles in World of Tanks Blitz, apart from one, and that would be the Panzer IIJ. Now, this vehicle, I kind of forgot about. I didn't really think much of it. In fact, of course, I don't really play low tiers ever. If you take a look on my 90 days, you'll probably see 2 or 3 games in low tier battles. And the Panzer IIJ is a vehicle that I remember thinking about a couple years ago as one of the most armored Tier 2, or Tier 3s, sorry, I always get it confused because it's the Panzer II, but it is one of the most overpowered tanks when it first came into the game. And the reason for that being, of course, was because of the ridiculous armor profile. This tank sits at 80 millimeters thick on the frontal armor. Now, that's pretty much like having a mouse at Tier 10 brought down to Tier 3, like the Panzer III. Pretty much none of these tanks with their standard ammunition at Tier 3 can penetrate my frontal armor, so they have to load premium. Now, of course, loading premium doesn't knock away too much of your damage, but still, loading premium is going to help you, and after Wargaming buffed the vehicle, the biggest issue with the Panzer IIJ was, of course, the gun. You couldn't penetrate your opponents. It had like 26 millimeters of standard pen, and the premium was like 40. Yeah, you couldn't really penetrate any Tier 4 opponents, and Tier 3s, yeah, good luck as well. You bounced off half of them. But after the recent updates, Wargaming has buffed the pen to 80 millimeters on the premium, which means that you can cut through pretty much any frontal armor, even up-tiered opponents, with the Panzer IIJ, which now makes it one of the most overpowered Tier 3 vehicles in World of Tanks Blitz. In fact, more overpowered in certain scenarios, and most scenarios, than the Kennyatsu. And the reason I know this, of course, is because my mighty friend, the Space Boot, actually owns the Kennyatsu, and I wanted to test if it was better. So we went into a training room, and pretty much every time the Kennyatsu, even though it had more DPM, it doesn't have as much health, and as well, it has to load premium to penetrate it, while the Panzer just loads standard right through the Kenny's armor. And yeah, the Panzer actually won all 3 of the battles. Quite funny how the Panzer IIJ is now one of the most overpowered vehicles. So you can see here, we couldn't penetrate with my standard, but load that premium, and there you go. That was 100 hit points slapped right off of the M5 Stuart. So again, we're going to aim at him, and blah, 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 blah. I do love the gun on this tank, though. It is kind of fun just to spray like 5 billion shells at the enemy opponents, but you can see what makes this tank kind of broken. So there you go. That was another 81 hit points off of the M5 Stuart. It also has ridiculously high damage per minute. So again, it just starts spraying shells at him. That's another 50 hit points slapped off. And even though the dispersion is not great, it's still enough to do this again. Yep, there you go. So there goes one tank on the enemy team. BT7, I'm not even worried about penning me. And of course, we actually have enough standard pen to cut right through his side armor. So there you go. Let's spray him. That's 125 hit points taken off. And in another 5 seconds, we'll get our clip reloaded. So you can start to see why this tank is ridiculously overpowered. Just use our auto aim there. There's no point not to. We got the B1, which is one of the most armored tanks. And of course, we can still cut right through its frontal armor. There you go, 71 hit points taken off. Yeah, you can see what makes the Panzer. In fact, we might be able to pen him with standard there. Yes, we can. Okay, we actually can't pen the side of him unless we're loading premium, but there you go. Nice bounce from the Su-76 from the vehicle here. Let's aim in on the lower play of this guy once again, and blah, 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 blah. I do love this vehicle's gun. It is really fun, but you can see that now that it did get that buffed premium penetration. Yeah, you really don't want to mess with it. Let's just spray this guy. 125 hit points once again slapped off of the SU. And, well, yeah, you can see why this is probably the most prominent seal clubbing vehicle at tier 3 now. Like, that's a crazy clip, and for 5 seconds, it's got 1100 DPM. Like, what was Wargaming thinking? Buffing the penetration on this vehicle. Like, what? Alright, so let's just sit here. I'm not even worried about petting me, as you can see, just bouncing a shell. And, of course, the clip reload is so ridiculously quick on this vehicle, we can just start spamming more shells into him. There you go, another 87 hit points slapped off, and let's just put on our speed. He's taken out, and all that's left is the M7, a tier 4 medium tank. And while the M7 does have some pretty strong armor for a tier 4 medium, you'll still see that my gun is capable of cutting right through his armor if I do load that premium, and there you go, that's another 78, bouncing the standard shell of the M7. So we've blocked pretty much all the shells we've received in this game, and once again, there you go, spamming shells right through that armor, and hopefully we're going to be able to spam some more if we do this correctly. Let's just, ooh, come on, I guess we're going to have to load in some premium here. You can see that the gun definitely struggles with pen. It's not necessarily the best, but when you have to load premium in this vehicle, it's not like you're losing anything. Of course, it's a tier 3 vehicle, and I was able to sweep through the battlefield, so let's just spam some more shells. There's another 71 hit points off. And in 5 more seconds, we would have been able to clip him out once again. This gun kind of reminds me of the tier 5 Leopard, but the same gun, lower tiered. So this battle here was a pretty crazy one at that. 1,570 damage and pulling out a mastery. You can see what makes the Panzer Kampfpanzer 2 off. Alright, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. I tried to go all the way through, but, well, I guess I'm not German, so I would love to hear if somebody German out there knows how to pronounce it. Please let me know in the comments down below how to say it correctly, because I'm not necessarily the best. But as you can see here, well, yeah, we received 7 shells, 1 of them penetrated, and 6 bounced. So you can see that it's really the most overpowered tier 3, I would have to say. The issue with the Kennyatsu, and while it is still a ridiculously strong tank, it has over 2,000 damage per minute at tier 3. The thing about the Kennyatsu is that it struggles on the armor. It has literally no armor. And a lot of tier 4 vehicles now have the capability of cutting right through that Kennyatsu quickly too. Where this tank, it's got way more hit points, and while it doesn't have necessarily the DPM to keep up with it, it still has stupid DPM, and as well at the same time, stupid armor. It's really now just you win every battle. I played, I think, 5 or 6 games in it just to see how it played, because I remember playing it about a year ago, and the pen sucked. It just absolutely sucked. But for some reason, Wargaming was like, you know what? We got to buff the most underpowered, overpowered tank to the most overpowered. And that's what they have done. Now, you will see it's slow. It literally is a mouse. Like, I can say it's honestly slower than a mouse, because even though you do get up to like 30 kilometers per hour, as you can see here, it's got the worst power to weight ratio on the planet. But 80 millimeters on the front is stupid, because no tier 3 vehicle has 80 millimeters of standard pen. So you got the Panzer right there. That's a nice little clip. 74 hit points taken off of him. And of course, in a couple more seconds here, we'll be able to clip him out once again. And let's just load the premium, and blah, 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 blah. 71 more hit points taken off of him already. And while that Panzer was very healthy, he is now well, I can say not too healthy. So let's start spamming some more shells. There's another 26 taken off of him. And again, just reloading that clip. So what do we got? We got the light Vic off to the side here, a tier 2 vehicle with literally no armor. So let's just aim it on him. You know what? I think I literally missed every single shell I fired there. Quite sad. But you know what? I'll take it. We're doing okay. We got the Panzer III off to this side over here. Let's see if we can pen some shells into you. There you go. Nice 101 hit points off of you. And then we'll reload in a couple seconds and spam some more shells into him. And there you go. And start spamming some more shells in the back of the cover. Like, you can see how this tank is absolutely stupid. It literally just, it keeps going. It's the tank that doesn't stop. Like, every time we clip him out with premium, we're taking off 80 hit points. And then we pull out. And then we do it again. And then we pull out. So we got him sitting here. Let's start clipping him once again. Can we put him with standard? No, we cannot. But that's fine, because we're trading pretty much 60 hit points for 100 every time. So let's just start spamming him again. There's 56. And yeah, he's not liking me too much. I can definitely tell you that. Let's start getting some final shells in. There's 59 in the next clip. He will definitely be dead. So there you go. He's taken out. We got the M5 Stuart here. Ooh, yeah, there's a nice 125 clip. I think he's AFK. I love how Wargaming added the little shell markers. You can see how, like, I can spray him all over with the shells. It's kind of cool. But I think the clip does 125 on average every time when you get it out. So let's see here. Yeah, that's about 124. So it does about 120 damage every time. I've no clue what this guy's doing, by the way. He's just, he's enjoying the view. And you know what? I don't blame him. We got a nice bounce from the light tank there. And, you know what? Let's finish off this guy. So, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so who do we have left? We got the Light Vic, we got the BT2, and the M5 Stuart. Once again, this was a 1100 game already pulled out. And obviously, I don't like seal clubbing much, but, well, you can see what makes this tank so ridiculously broken. So, once again, let's just aim at this M5 Stuart here, and let's see if we can get some more shells in. Blah, 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 blah. This is so dumb. Alright, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll take you out of your... Well, I guess I won't take him out of his misery. He took himself out of the misery by the other M5 Stuart. So let's see if we can get out some more shells here. Go! Look at the speed. This tank is so overpowered on that speed, isn't it? But well, I guess we hit both the tanks there. So let's finish off the light tank, which has literally no armor. I didn't realize that thing has no armor, but well, it has no armor. Now we are already at 1480 damage, and once again, let's start trying to get out that clips. There you go. Nice little 50 damage clip into you, and we are using our immense speed and power here to try and shoot the BT2. So let's see if we can just do that. Come on, and clip. Yes, there you go. Another 104 damage in. And this game was even more damage than the first game we pulled out of 1600 damage in the Panzer 2J. So this tank, if you are a seal clubber and you want to ruin some tier 3 players' days, please don't. But as you can see, it is by far the most overpowered tier 3, I would have to say, in the game, and possibly one of the most overpowered tanks in the game, period. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did and you want to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, to be seeing you in the next one.